Somerton work session, Thursday, January 14th, 2020, call the meeting to order. We're gonna forego all formalities and just go straight to roll call.
Mayor Gerardo Anaya.
Present.
Vice Mayor Juan Castillo.
Present.
Councilmember Marta Garcia. Present. Councilmember Miguel Villalpando. Councilmember Carlos Gonzalez. Councilmember Luis Galindo.
Present.
Councilmember Jesus Roldan.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. I have a item number 3, presentation.
Mayor,
I don't want.
Mayor, Council, we do have, it's been actually an ongoing discussion regarding the 20-acre parcel, Part U commercial area. I know in the past we need to discuss this a couple of times, and now it's come to closer to that decision making that we'll try to bring it up for Planning and Zoning Commission next month. But we're close to finishing all this plat. But in order for us to sell this plat, we have to record it, and by the time it gets recorded and brought out to council and sell, we're looking at 3 to 4 month process. And we have 2 investors that want to purchase at least one of the 4 acres. There's one for 4 acres and the other one for another 4 acres. And obviously for the other portion of it, I met with 3 investors, and they're in agreement with the way the plat is. They like the idea that it's split into several sections on one corner, and then the other one, I think it's 2. And Hector's going to go over the plat with you, but it comes to a domino effect of what we're doing with the infrastructure, with the high school and the commercial area, the traffic light. So all that is kind of a huge domino effect once we approve this. Obviously, the infrastructure that we're looking at starting in April, that with the lift station and the force main, all that is part of that whole infrastructure area. And this has an effect because obviously we have to do some stub outs and some streets in that location as well. So without further ado, Hector will explain the parcel and see what guidance you want to give.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, the manager, Mayor and council members. As you know, this property is part of the 55 acres that the city purchased in 2017. And it was a direction last year to at least use 20 acres of those dedicated for commercial development. So the city went through the rezoning process. We rezoned from residential and commercial into all commercial 20 acres. So based on the discussion we had previous with Sunset Community Health and also another commercial developer, based on that information and discussions, it was directed and decided to continue with the subdivision plan. So right now, the design that is undergoing right now is about 8 lots, commercial subdivision. The lot number 1 is for 4 point, you need to zoom out, Andrea. Yeah, the more. Yeah. Yes, fine, right there. As you can see, there are 8 lots. The lot number 1, that's for 4.4 acres. Lot number 2, that's another 4.2 acres. Lot number 3 that's about 2.5 acres. That one, a discussion that we have with the a hotel developer from Phoenix. And he's needing 2.5 acres. The other lots, they're 1 acre lots, with the exception of the lot number 8. That's a little bigger lot, just next to the hotel site lot.
Victor, how are the numbers? I can see the numbers. The lot on the first lot on the northwest, that's lot number 1?
That's number 1.
And that goes
Number
clockwise,
2.
the numbers go clockwise?
Yeah, it goes down like this.
Okay.
But it's 1, 2, and then you go back on top.
Okay, now I can see.
Yeah. That's better. Yeah, lot number 1, that's the one that has been dedicated for Sunset Community. As you recall, Mayor and Council, that initially Sunset wanted to place their building on lot number 2, but based on the discussion between yourself and city staff and also Sunset, they agreed to move the building north to the lot number 1, based on the last discussion we had with them. As you recall, the initial proposal was to go, they wanted to be facing Main Street. But conversation back and forth, they agreed to use lot number 1 and leave the frontage on Main Street for the commercial development. So that's the intent. The lot number 2, right now we have the only 2 proposals that we have, and they submitted the RFP proposals and also the $5,000 deposit, was Sunset and also the commercial developer. The commercial developer wants to put 2 buildings. You recall, I showed you the proposal. 1 building on the east side and 1 building on the west side, with parking in the middle and a view corridor from Main Street all the way to lot number 1 to where Sunset is going to be located. Sunset is going to be a 2-story building, 24,000 square feet. And lot number 2 is going to have 2 commercial buildings, one 14,000 and 14,000, each 28,000 square feet building total. But the idea is to leave a view corridor to lot number 1. And also the Sunset like the idea because the bus stop is right there on Main Street, and all the clients can actually use the bus stop and then continue going north, walking in the middle of lot number 2 to the clinic to the north. And conversation I had in the last maybe 9 months, and before the pandemic, even after the pandemic, it's still going on. But lot number 3, the hotel developer wants to put a 90 rooms, 3 stories building, but I don't have the proposal yet, like a Sunset and the commercial developer. I'm still waiting for the proposal. He was supposed to give it to me, but the pandemic happened and then everything slowed down. And last conversation I had with him was 2 months ago, and the model that he has for the hotel site, he wants to market the border patrol and also the custom agents, because he knows that these people are looking for 3 months, 6 months leasing locations. So he's looking into that market. Right now, the hotel industry is really low. Nobody is actually building hotels, but he's okay because he told me he wants to market the custom and border patrol agents for now, because these units are going to be extended stay with the kitchenettes, not like a regular hotels. That's his model. But I don't have the proposal yet, like Sunset and the commercial developer, but he wants 2.5 acres. And as you know, one of the concerns that that you mentioned to me before is that why divide the lot number 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8? If someone wants to have a bigger proposal, we can combine those lots. That's no issue. Other developers want to have only 1 acre, 1.1 acre, and that will be also available like that. As Jerry mentioned, we met with developers already. They're really interested in this location. It's a matter of us finishing the plat and record it and be able to sell. Right now, we cannot do anything until the plat is recorded. So Sunset is waiting, the commercial developer is waiting, and investors are also waiting for this. The other conversation I have is another gym is trying to locate next to a high school, and he's looking for property in this area as well, next to a high school. He wants to put a 20,000 square feet building and about 100 parking spaces. That's also part of the conversation we had in the last few months. And what investors are really, as you know, is really interested, and they need to invest within 6 months. So we have a short window. If they don't invest in Somerton, they need to go someplace else. One has a 1031 exchange monies, but it has also 6 months to invest. The other one, it has 6 months to invest, but it's based on the stock market sale. They have sold a company and they have money to invest, but they have only 6 months window. If they don't invest on this 6 month window, then they have to pay 20% of the federal taxes.
Who's this company?
Yeah?
Who's the company?
I don't know. I can give you the name.
Okay.
Maybe Jerry can mention later. Yeah. And that's the concern that they have right now. They want to invest really quickly. And as you know, this also area is part of the opportunity fund. If they invest in this area, they can save money in federal taxes for if they do it for 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years. So that's critical for them. One of them is really interested in opportunities fund investment. He cannot do the 1031 exchange, but he can do the opportunities fund investment. But again, it's very important for us to proceed with the recordation of the plat. We need to go to Planning Commission first, and then it will come before you all as well. So this is the layout that we have based on the previous conversations with investors and also with yourself.
Questions or comments?
I have a question. So for lots, let's say 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right now we don't have anything, per se, ideas of what businesses would want to come in. Like, you don't have to be specific, just some general.
No, the
grocery store or anything like that.
I could chime in. Yes, I actually have spoken regarding to an investor for 4, 5, 7, and 8. And it'll be interesting if you want to purchase those, and they were also thinking about purchasing 3 and 6. And again, first come, first serve, correct? If the price is right and they do want to get into that investment, their grocery store actually looking at, or they want to assist for another acreage around the area. That at that point I'm not going to discuss. I can discuss that with you. It's not public record at this point, but they do want an area for a grocery store, and they've been helping in terms of bringing possibly 2 grocers that are potential as well. And it might be that area in itself will definitely help. The 4 acres there is too small to have a grocery store. It might be a kind of a mom and pop type small grocery store per se, but not enough to hold maybe 100 vehicles or 150 vehicles, if you will. It's too small. You need at least, even with across the street with their, so that's really tight. But definitely you need about 6 to 10 acres of site to have a nice grocery store.
One of those investors is interested.
Yes, they want to purchase all those 2 lots there, including the other one and plus more. But I think right now it's a domino effect on what we're going to do here, what we're going to do with future land as well, which is important to have those discussions.
Again, I just want to mention that, I see this, but you mentioned that it's not big enough for a grocery store. Issue that was what we wanted. We own all this property that we wanted to have it ready for grocery store. And we could accommodate. And still, this is even if we have the fact that we still own everything to the north, so hopefully that's communicated to the investors that we could, we have this, but we do have land that we could also, manage this subdivision. I don't know if amend is the word, but we could include more land.
This, even though we might end up splitting this the way it is, it doesn't change the fact that we can make any changes to it at a future date.
Yeah, you combine the lot 3, 6, 4, 5, 7, and 8. They give you roughly about 10 acres. So the 20 acres grows the whole thing, the whole area. But it needs to have the driveways, the access.
I would like for you to change that thinking because we own everything to the north, so it's not just it's open for development.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have proposals.
It's not just say, we got 10 acres, 20 acres developable. Everything's up in the market. We've discussed this. Now we've mentioned it enough here in this meeting. Hopefully, when we present this, we present the whole site. Tell me what you have. We can accommodate it. How we can. It will facilitate. Then again, if someone's willing to bring the grocery store, we can do something.
I think we can accommodate to those areas and other properties as well. Definitely we can.
But Mayor, the best part is that investors are looking to Somerton. Even though the pandemic slowed down the economy, these areas, they're looking. And investors, they went away for many years, they're coming back. For local investors, they're interested in Somerton. And that's a very good news. They want to do an investment in Somerton.
Well, I'm just hoping that it comes to fruition. I've been here for a long time, and hopefully it does, and it sells tax producing business. That's the ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna sell to Sunset, which is great. It needs to be a big amenity. The bottom line is sales tax, and that was the intent for the frontage plan. So, and we get proposals. The city manager mentioned first come first serve, but that's something we do to see some businesses that go with council vision for frontage here that's sales tax producing or something that are producing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, Mayor, we also pushing for the residential development, bringing employment and also the population. So we need to have a mix of developments, not just retail. We need to have the also people to support the retail.
Oh, no, just comment on what you said, that we have have more acres besides this. I think, we always wanted a park. We want a park, because we have more park. I think if we bring retail and bring business, then we can build a park later. Doesn't have to be built right in that area, Because before we were worried about people, the investors were looking at something, but we didn't have nothing ready shopping. And now that we have this, we should take advantage and try to, I wanted the park, but I do understand that maybe this is not the time, maybe 5, 10 years when we get the vehicle, we can build a park. I think we should not just, this is all we have.
As we look into the future, to bring more investors, they're going to look at amenities as well. Yes, they're going to look at parks. They're going to look at commercial area, how much jobs, what type of skills we have in the area. So they look at the whole demographics in its entirety, from household income to the cost of living, the cost of homes. So they look at everything, and it's important and it's vital to bring that or bring those resources and amenities to our community. It does take a while, but we do have to start somewhere. And we have started by even getting a consultant to assist. But essentially, what's going to lead more to it is more residential. The more population we have, the easier it is to bring other investors for bigger commercial areas, not only just for this, but obviously for commercial, warehousing, other type of industries. But they're going to be looking into all that area to see how we can sustain that type of commercial with the residents that we have here locally. Obviously, they do look at the airport, they look at the infrastructure, they look at the corridors. If the new port of entry does open, I mean, they kind of look at everything entirely, and we have to sell it.
And also, I'd like to mention that one of the best things to Somerton on Main Street, we have 20,000 cars per day. That's the average the whole year. We may have more cars passing here in the winter season, but that's the average 20,000, and that number is really good. But we need to capture that traffic into retail opportunities. For this location, it could be a good site to attract this kind of traffic, and let us stop with this location.
Would you want to see something different plat or this one? This one, it's kind of a general plat in essence that you can make any changes even after if a bigger type of industry comes into that area.
My concern is just the message that we show it to prospective builders. This is what, and I just want for the message to be: this is what we have, and this is all the land that we have, and this is and we're flexible.
Yeah. And it's interesting because when we met last Tuesday, Wednesday, we met
last week
with the investors, and that was the first thing I did mention was just because it's like this format doesn't mean that we have to stick with it. But they liked the way it was. So we're very flexible. As a matter of fact, we met with another investor for residents, and we also showed them this, and I mentioned to them that we're very flexible the way we're presenting this. It might change depending on what type of industry they want to put in there.
I know we get an investor for houses. I would like to see something, like appealing about those big houses, not just 1,200 square houses, because you're not attracting people that make more money. You're attracting normal. But I guess there's people here in Somerton, they want to move that. Maybe they want a 2,000, 3,000 square foot house with something like that, a nice subdivision. I think we've been catering all this year for low income and, but I think there's people that can afford I know a couple of them, they moved to Yuma because they said they want a bigger house and Somerton doesn't. Maybe when we talked to some of those investors, they want to do residential. But this is our vision, we want something for the, not just for this part, because we're always focusing on the low income and this, but maybe there's people that want to bring, and that will bring more revenue to the city.
I had that exactly that same discussion with that investor regarding maybe a gated community or what have you, but I did mention to them that they're looking at a 90-acre site. And I said, well, this will be a perfect site to have possibly some sort of gated community or bigger sized lots. And the area that he's looking at is very feasible to have that type of residential. And I think they'll make good money out of it. I think it will sell pretty quickly.
So something like that, are you talking about an investor would purchase everything, or would you kind of like open it up for?
No, right now they're trying to partner up with someone and purchase that acreage currently right now. So we had a meeting last week for the infrastructure because they need infrastructure in that area. So that was apart from the infrastructure for the commercial area that we had that same week.
Did we reach out to Dr. Moore, colleague?
No, I haven't.
We're sure it's in the meeting, though, but I don't know if it's in writing, one of the resolutions or ordinance will go ahead that we're gonna hold for 5 years to Arizona Western College. But we met with them, we talked to them, so I still wanna honor them and make sure that they don't have any plans. Yeah, we have to. One thing when we start selling, hopefully we have a plan and like we discussed in our last meeting, be used for real estate or paying off our loan for that, for that, but let's have a plan so it doesn't get lost in the general fund. That we either reinvest it in something else, in parks amenities or whatever. We can discuss it in a future work session or in our retreat, but let's have a plan moving forward. We'll start selling the plan, how we're gonna reinvest it or whatever we decide. We wanna pay down our loan, or we wanna use it for infrastructure, or if we wanna use it for parks, or but let's have a plan.
Just go to the agenda. Not last.
Look, a lot of that interest, the cost that's going into this and the sale, it's going to assist with some of the costs of infrastructure. Yes, we do have a loan, possibly 2 loans to get that infrastructure. Hopefully, from the sale is well, depending on what the mayor said, that's what you want to do with this one.
Yeah, also, Mayor, the companies or businesses coming to this site, they also need to share that cost of the infrastructure. Not just buying the land, but also need to share that cost of the infrastructure as part of the development plan. The 20 acres.
And I think the last one that I was gonna have is just, once we, say this is the plan, but I know there's built-in flexibility into it. It doesn't mean that it's just gonna be like that, but, if your investors do come in and make an offer and everything, that's still gonna come through us, and we'll, for like final approval, right?
Correct. Yeah, we can't sell without
Right.
mayor and council approval.
I mean, if the idea is not like, let's just say I don't know, a non-profit was to come in, we'd be able to say, you know, no, let's put it, and then I'll for bidder again.
Well, it's part of that RFP process. We just can't sell it to anybody else.
The mayor and council member, Vice Mayor Castillo. As part of the RFP, they need to come and present to you a proposal. If they come for these 4 acres combined, they have to come and present something. We cannot sell directly. They have to become presented and submit the RFP, a deposit, and then come and present it to you. This is what we're going to do on that location. They need to say approve the proposal, and then from there, they need to continue with the building permits or development process.
About Sunset, up to finalizing that agreement.
As I said, well, they need to come back and present the final because we don't have the final. It's only a conceptual. You recall it was a conceptual 2-story building, but they need to come back and just present the final design.
What about purchasing the land? Are we close to doing that?
So they're waiting for the recordation of the plat, so they can submit a proposal, and then we need to have an agreement. Same process we did for the corner lot over here. You can actually include timing. You need to build this within 1 year or within 2 years. If not, go back to the city as part of the development agreement and the sale of the property.
I would like for us to explore, we paper a conceptual plan when we're thinking of purchasing the farm. We could just reach out to that firm that did that. Maybe we can, look at, now that we have this, maybe they, and that could be a discussion between staff and council, what we want, how much it would cost to see for them to develop a conceptual plan direction. Maybe we're going to build some residences, or we're going to get a park, or kind of.
I did send on the report, there's a PUD type, a real conceptual plan which divided the park, the commercial area, and possible residential with PUD.
And I understand, but that was done in-house. I would like for someone, a professional, when we were going to build City Hall, we had a vision of what we wanted. We started looking at different architects. We're thinking we're going to have it here, but we're going to purchase Housing America. But then when we started looking at architects, they each had the vision of doing it here. And so, it's probably, if it's not, the cost is not that much, but at least, they work with the high school. They work, they have an understanding of and we have development, in-house, but as a team, we could work together. And we can at least have that vision, what we want. Have that.
Yes, we can do that because that's part of the architect or designer need to come before you before we want it. See that? They will get that information from you and then go back and design the idea and then present it to you. I mean, that's how we did the Centennial Park. We also did the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. If it's not going to be a park, now it can be something else.
Something else, and they have a lot of the background, so it might not be that much.
Yeah. I mean,
just because the POD or whatever it is, more of a team and more of a scientific approach.
mm-hmm. Then if that's the direction, maybe I can work with the city manager.
Let's see just prices. If it's too much, and it can be brought out. Whatever we.
The firm that you're looking at is it's pricey.
Yeah, but they do a lot of the work.
They done most of the work here in Yuma County.
Mayor, the only concern is that the developer, they will design their own designs. But because it's a city property, then will be up to the city council to say, this is what we're looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only difference.
Like a vision of what we want.
Yeah. Yep.
Was it EMC Square?
J2,
G2 engineers, they're the ones who, they're the ones that design most of the outdoor facilities. They don't do the design for buildings or residential. But these, they have the idea as far as the park, they have residential what's more appropriate for that area.
yeah, they do, they have landscape architects, Mayor. They, yeah, they did a Main Street.
And my vision would be, that's an area that's new. And if we can get something that ties together, that goes to, that's connected, maybe have that development, but we can have that vision and you know, as far as landscaping, as far as everything being connected, working together instead of having, you know.
Yeah, Mayor, J2 is also working with a high school project. They are the landscape architect for them. They know exactly the area, you know, how big it is. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, like, you know,
I work with them for the potential park that we're looking at for the 25 acres, so I know them very well.
And like, you know, I've told the city manager that I would like, instead of having a pond, I would like to have like a canal, like a river walk, and make it aesthetic, so we can bounce off ideas. Doesn't mean that it's gonna happen, but at least have a vision and we can. Yeah, something like that.
That's exactly the conversation.
We can tell it.
The high school's gonna, they're gonna be a park. With the code.
Yeah, Mayor, that's a great idea. We can get a conceptual design. The design will come before you, and you see the architect to give you the conceptual that you're looking for. Like it.
Any other comments?
One question, I don't know if I'm confused, but this board number 2 and 4, 5, 7, and 8. 7 and 8, which one is closest to Avenue? Is it Chavez or what?
Yeah, the
Because the first, remember the first one didn't want to sell the 10 acres right in the front. So, but in here it shows that it's all the way to.
the street that you see on the right side, that's going to be a traffic signal. That will be a main entrance to the high school.
That's basically Cesar Chavez and a quarter, right? Yeah. That road is,
Everybody's still back.
Yeah, to the,
Remember isn't it the property right in front of the Prairie Court, in front of the, it belongs to the Prairie Court?
Yeah.
let's say 9.7 acres in the corner.
Okay.
The only item.
Yes.
Yeah, Mayor, just like to mention that next step for this is to go to Planning Commission. We don't have the final design ready yet. We need to go to engineering. San Palacios and Mirada are going to review those. And then based on those comments, then we're going to go to Planning Commission, and then we'll come to City Council for final approval. We're thinking probably by the second meeting of March. We come before you in the end of March. Thank you.
6:43 meeting adjourned.
We're done.